Hare Krishna, everyone. I hope you all are doing great and enjoying the Ratha preparation. I'm going to make my 5 minutes video, which includes 1 minute of the preparation of Ratha and 2 minutes on glorifying the appearance day of Lord Sri Jagannath and 2 minutes on the Srila Prabhupada childhood pastimes of Rath, desire of having our own Rath. So I will start now. Please forgive me for any mistakes I make during the glorifying Lord Jagannath and Srila Prabhupada. I'm just going to try my best not to make any mistakes. So I shall start now as my Ratha is next to me. So for my Ratha, I used the cardboard, papers, a glittery stick, flowers and sticks and glue tag and everything. So I made my Ratha out of it, and my husband and son both were involved in the preparing the Ratha. So we enjoyed a really nice time together, and it took me around maybe roughly 1.5 hours for 3 days. So it took around 6-7 hours roughly to make it. It's just because I try to redoing it every time because I wasn't satisfied enough to make when I was giving a shape and squares and the rectangles was going everywhere. And then I prayed, Lord Jagannath, please help me to make this Ratha for you, as I've never done it before, so it's the first time for me. So by His mercy, finally I was able to do it. So I can show you how it looks like, turning my camera around. So this is my Ratha. Basically, I showed a little small garden with the grass and the flowers at the bottom. The middle space, I left it for Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra's picture. And on top, it's just a garden, kind of a triangle shape I tried to give. And to pull, I arranged this sort of thing so we can pull it. I hope you can see it all. Yeah, so altogether it was a great time spent with family, and as well as making this Ratha. I got to know so many things which I wasn't aware of this Rathayatra, and obviously I knew about the Rathayatra yearly, but not in details, that how it did happen, why it is doing, like what's the significance of making this. So I'm very excited about making a bhoga for Lord Shri Jagannath on Saturday, especially khaja, which I'm going to prepare. As it's very near and dear to Lord Jagannath, I hope I can satisfy him from this devotion. So when we talk about the appearance of Lord Jagannath, as we all knew that there was a king called Indriyamna, was very great devotee of Lord Vishnu, and he was very eager to meet Lord Vishnu face to face. And by Lord's arrangement, one day in the court, in the king's court, when Brahmana came and said that Lord Vishnu incarnated as a Nil Madhava on this planet. So king was very excited, and he wanted to meet Nil Madhava as soon as possible. So he spread his whole brahmanas and people in the kingdom to the different direction. But unfortunately, all of them came back to the king's city and said, they were not able to meet them. But at the same time, there was one brahmana called Vidyapati hasn't returned yet. So king has some sort of expectations from him that he may bring the news of Nil Madhava. And while going around the places, one day he took a shelter in the name called Vishwasu. And that time Vishwasu wasn't at home. And his daughter served him with all hospitality, like offering food and giving him a shelter at his place. And when the Vishwasu returned from after glorifying the Nilmadeva, he requested Brahman to stay for some time with him and give him an opportunity to serve Brahmana. And after Vishwasa's request, Sabura's request, he got married to his daughter Lalita. And then he stayed there for some time, and he saw some sort of different thing, that where Vishwasa goes in the night and comes in the noon, and whenever he comes back, his whole body is give a different fragrance, which is not normal. And then he wanted to know what is happening, so he asked his wife Lalita that what is going on, like where does he go every time, and why does he smell so different? And then on saying this, on Vidyapati saying this to Lalita mentioned that he go to a secret place and worship Neela Madhava, and then he gets back, and maybe that's the reason. And Vidyapati had he was so excited to see Neela Madhava himself. And then, but Lalita was, by his father, Lalita said, wasn't not supposed to say this to anyone. But Lalita did mention this to Vidyapati. And then after requesting a lot of times, Lalita's father decided to take Vidyapati and said, okay, I will take you on one thing, that you won't be able to see the way where we're walking through. So he blindfolded him, and then they started walking, and as soon as they reached there, Lalita's father, Vishwasu, took the band off his eyes, and then Vidyapati was able to take the darshan, and he was so happy. And he was so all excited. So when he was praising deities, sitting down front of deities, he saw one sort of insignificant crow was trying to drink a water from that river, and he becomes 4-hand Vishnus incarnated and went to the back to Godhead. And then he climbed the tree up, and then he was about to jump, and the voice came off the sky that before you do this, before you jump into the river or sort of that water, you should go to the king and tell him about this, that you have found Neela Madhava. And so he slowly came down, and then he went back to the okay, bye. So looking at this, Lalita's father Vishwasu was as he started praying, I think Neela Madhava said that I have taken your flowers from this forest and taken all the devotions you have given me, and now I'm desired to worship by King Indramanu, that I desire to live in the kingdom. By listening this, Vishwasu got so angry, and he's like, oh, I'm sure Vidyapati must have done something. And he was angry with Vidyapati and said, he tied him basically in the tree and went back to home and explained all this to Lalita. And Lalita came back and leave him from that bondage. And Vidyapati went to the kingdom, explained all this to king, and king had no patience after that. And then king and Vidyapati himself with the other people, they started going to that place. And while going to that place, Vidyapati in past have put the mustard seeds on that way, so whenever he have to go there, like visit back, he know that where is have to go from that place. So he followed that mustard seeds roots and the plants grown within that area. And then eventually they reached there, and they couldn't find Neela Madhava there. So king was very upset, and then came back to the kingdom and prayed to Brahma that his life has wasted. He didn't. So before that, Neela Madhava deity wasn't there, but then there was a voice came from the sky that you should, king, you should make temple in this place. So by listening to his Lord's request, king managed to make a temple. and then it's called Daru Brahmana or something. I'm sorry, I'm not sure. But yeah, so basically he made that temple and went back to the kingdom, and he said, "Oh, I still couldn't see my Lord," and he was very upset. He decided to leave his body by fasting. At the same time, he had a dream of saying that Lord Jagannath was saying him that you will find a wood floating on the river, and then you will be, that is my incarnated, that I'm going to be after after the Nila Madhava incarnation. So he went to the riverside, the seaside basically, and saw that the thing was floating on the river, but then they were not able to take it out with all the forces. And all of a sudden again the voice came from there and said, "Oh, my two dear people like Vishwasu and Vidyapati, please bring them, and if they take me out of the river, I will be able to come out." So king immediately ordered and then asked them to present in that place, and then as soon as they came and they were able to take the wooden bit out of the river, and then they went to the kingdom, and then king called so many sculpture to make the deities basically, but none of them were really able to do it. And Lord himself took a very old Brahmana body, and he came himself and said that, "Okay, I will be able to do it. I will do it, but then I have I want one promise from you, that until I make it, that place shouldn't be visited by anyone. No one should come in the room, and no one should be listening. It may take 14 days, 20 days, 21 days, many days. As soon as it's done, I will myself come out of it." So king said, "Okay, that's my promise, I won't come." So every time king had no patience, he was going to visit that door, listen to the that making thing noise, and he was waiting, and then after some time, after some days, the voice of the making the wood bit, it wasn't like coming. So he became restless, and it's like, "Oh, what's going on? Let me just go and see it," because he wasn't able to stop himself, in spite of telling so many people have told him like, please don't open the door, it may not be may not be finished yet. But then king didn't have a patience, and he opened the door, and he saw the three wood deities, like without hand and leg, and he got devastated, that he felt so bad that because he broke the promise, the Lord was incompleted, the deities were incompleted. So again he decided to leave his body and started fasting. And then again voice came. Lord Jagannath was so merciful that Lord came again in his dream and said, "This is my own decision, that I wanted to be in this form in the world. I wanted to be incarnated in this form in the world, without hand and leg. Like without hand and leg, I still can be able to eat, listen. Without ears, I can listen, I can eat, I can walk around the world. I don't need any sort of things which I have to have. By senses only I can do everything. So please don't feel bad about it, and please don't try to leave your body. Please make a temple on this, and please put this deities as it is, like this, and if you want, you can decorate it, this deities with the flowers or gold or whatever you feel like, but don't feel that you have broken a promise, and because of this it's all happened. So things went there, and that's how the Lord Jagannath appeared in the Puri, and that's why how the Lord Jagannath is in this incarnated, that because of his old mercy, he's able to eat and listen everyone. That I think that's all for Lord Shri Jagannath. I hope I did glorify Lord Jagannath, and I hope if I made any mistake, again, please forgive me. I was trying to cut short the story because it's going on and on. Thank you very much for listening. And now we are coming back to the Srila Prabhupada. His childhood name was Abhay, and Abhay's father was the biggest devotee, like one of the big devotees of Lord Shri Krishna. And in Calcutta, there was a yearly Ratha, Jaganath Ratha used to pass, and he used to get so excited about this. Like, he used to go and see Ratha every day, try to give services. And one very fine day, he thought that why can't he have his own Rath? And he explained this to his father, and his father said, "Oh, that's great. If you wanted to have your own Rath, we can help you to make one." And yes, so he went into the market with his dad and said, inquired about the Ratha, but none of the shop was making keeping the Rath as it is, and didn't have nothing, so he can have his own Rath type. So he was very upset, and then while walking towards the lane, one lady, I think they met one lady and said, "Oh, why you are upset, Abhay?" And Abhay father said that, he wanted to have his own Rath for Rathayatra, but apparently none of the market shops does it. And she said, "Oh, I have one, very old one. But I do have one." So they went with her and saw Ratha, and they got very excited. They really liked it. So they got that Ratha home. They cleaned the Ratha, decorated with the flowers, and they colored them so it looks new, and decorated with the flowers and all sort of material that required. It was right about the size of like 3 foot or something. And Srila Prabhupada was so happy to have his own Ratha. So his name was Abhay, as I said. So he invited all his family, friends, neighbors to help him to prepare this Ratha, and said that, "Oh, wow." So he took around for the 8 days, and his mother was offering deities prasadam every single day. New prasadam was making, and Abhay was having prasadam with his friends and family. And Abhay engaged many people in this Ratha, and arranged to get a Lord Sri Jagannath mercy and blessings through this. And since then, Abhay started making his own Ratha every year. He used to have a go around, and he even used to check the timing of the Puri on the railway station, like when is the next train to the Puri. Like, he always have a desire to meet Lord Jagannath and wanted to go to Puri, and eventually he was able to do it after his education finished. So yeah, I think Srila Prabhupada was from start, he was so near and dear to Lord Sri Jagannath, even though he didn't knew much when he was young. At the age of 5 years, he has his own Ratha, an own Ratha celebration for 8 days long with friends and family, offering different prasads and everything. So yeah, this is a little pastime of Srila Prabhupada when he was a child. I hope you all enjoyed and enjoyed. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.